Folks, where are we? We're in the year 1954 A.D., Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. We are in Springfield, Massachusetts. We have made the executive decision that there's no point of Glendora going on TV or getting a contract or anything else until she learns to do something. And we need now a bigger TV station. And we need a VHS station, and we need a station that has a network affiliate. Well, Glendora started writing a program, and all the time she's working at Channel 74, WMG-TV in Pittsfield, and she starts writing a program. And what comes from up above? A ship, a fun ship, a ship for children, a ship that has education, a ship that has happiness, a ship that has good living. And we call the ship what? The SS Glendora, the steamship Glendora. And so we go to the library, the Springfield Public Library, a magnificent institution of learning, and we learn about ships, and we learn ship language. And what about the setting? What about the TV set? It has to look like a ship. And now, who are the sailors? The sailors are the children. Who's the skipper? Glendora. Well, what do the sailors wear? Well, let them start coming into the TV studio with a white shirt, dress shirt, and boys wearing navy blue pants or dark pants, black pants, and girls wearing dark skirts, either navy blue or black skirts. Now, let's have some shoulder epaulets. So my daddy took orange crates and cut an orange crate into little blocks that were this long and came to a point, and then he sanded them all down smooth. And how many of these did he make? Oh, about 40. Can you imagine? And then my mother would take black cloth and cover the wood and sew the bottom, and they were nice and smooth. And then she would sew a button on them that made them look very classy, a gold button, and then she would put gold stripes on them to show their rank, because these children were going to be chief mates. And then Glendora bought the beautiful hats, and Daddy took the orange cutting up orange crates, and he made these rectangular blocks, and they had 3 ships' flags on them. And what did these ships' flags, what alphabet letters were they? You know, in ships, how you give signals? They were the SSG, SS Glendora. And then Mother, she made the neckties. She did? Yes, she did. She sewed them. She cut out pieces of black cloth, and she cut out these neckties, and she shaped them, and she hemmed them. And Franklin Buell taught Glendora how to tie a tie. So we had the costumes. Then did we have the script? Yes. We would have jokes. We would have crafts. And we would eventually have a ship kitty cat, and he turned out to be Sailor Tomcat. So we were all ready. Glendora peddled the show. She called TV stations and went to see them and presented her idea, and well illustrated and well documented. And she went to WMUR TV in Manchester, New Hampshire. This was a station that was owned by Governor Murphy. That's why the call letters were MUR. And it was a VHS station, Channel 9. It was only 40 miles from Boston, so it picked up quite a few of the Boston commuters. It was northwest of Boston, and it was an ABC affiliate. And how long was the show? 45 minutes. Every day of the week, Monday through Friday. This is what was needed. This was the on-the-air experience. And it was fun. Oh, it was so much fun. And Glendora would have 6 or 7 children on the show every day. It was just everything to see. And the children would come on and say, "This is Chief Mate Leon LaBelle reporting from Goffstown, New Hampshire." And we would have competitions between Manchester and Nashua and all the surrounding towns. It was just a beauty. And children would work on the show. They would put it together. And they would put on the costumes for the other children and so forth. It was just a dream. No question it was a dream, through and through. Can you prompt me on anything else, dear assistant?
So the show was a ship, and you covered the uniforms.
Ship, and we had the uniforms.
Who's Jack Wallace?
Oh, Jack Wallace. Oh, I have to tell you about Franklin Buell. He began to be more and more likable. And he was a person of so many great qualities and so deeply ingrained that it took a long time to know him and understand him. He had a great sense of humor, had a great tenor, singing voice, was very kind, very compassionate. He was 35 years old. Glendora was, he must have been, 35. Glendora was 24. No, he could be 33. He was 9 years older. And she began to appreciate him and his family. And they were strictly New England, Congregational Church. His daddy was a deacon. His mother had gone to church all her life, and Franklin had a Bible that he received because he was 7 years old in Sunday school. Very nice. His daddy was a mathematics teacher in the Connecticut schools, public high schools. He had been, they did go for a while to Georgia, to Rome, Georgia, to the Martha Berry schools. That's a whole story in itself. And so Glendora became more and more interested in him. And then came the decision, well, for what? To get married. And Glendora chose Christmas Day to be married. And on Christmas Day, 1954, Glendora and Franklin became connubial joys, conjugal blisses. And we were married in the Wellesley Church, the first Congregational Church, Wellesley Hills, because when Franklin was a newspaper reporter, he often was told to do the church beat when the church reporter was on vacation. And in doing that, he met ministers, many ministers, and they all respected Franklin because he was so kind and he was such a good reporter and he wrote very good and feeling Christian stories. And so one of his favorites was the Reverend Dr. Elmo Wallace, who was the pastor of the First Congregational Church, Court Square in Springfield, Mass. So when it came time to be married, Dr. Wallace was went from the Springfield Congregational Church to the Wellesley Hills First Congregational Church, where the Babbitt School of Finance is, where Wellesley College is, where the rich live, the elite commuters to Boston. And so Franklin called up Dr. Wallace to make arrangements for the wedding. And Dr. Wallace's wife answered. Her name was Lucy. And she said, "No, Jack isn't in. Could I have him call you back? Was it anything important?" And he said no. Franklin said no, it wasn't anything important. Well, he never lived that down. Lucy really went after him on that one. What else do you have, dear?
Well, it looks like that's about it for that year.
We were 40 miles from the coast, but we still would get the effect of these hurricanes that came up the Atlantic coast and went by Massachusetts and up by New Hampshire, like Portsmouth, and they blew down one of them blew down the antenna, and we were off the air. Anything else, honey?
How much were you making a week?
Oh, $75 a week. How much were you making in Pittsfield? Oh, maybe $50. $75 a week. Wow. Just to go on TV and bring joy and happiness and laughter. And the experience did come very, very quickly. I learned from the beginning that you didn't pretend, you didn't make believe, that you were truthful and you were honest, and anything went wrong in the TV show, you stopped and you explained it to the audience. You didn't try to cover it up. So I learned very, very quickly and got so much experience. And it was a kind of TV that I believed in. It was real, it was honest, it was wholesome, it was edifying, and it was good. Anything else, honey?
Well, looks like that's it.
Well, did you get married, Glendora? Yes, we did. On Christmas Day? Yes, on Christmas Day. And then Dr. Wallace suggested that we go to Concord, New Hampshire. Concord and Lexington. You know, who said that the British are not coming? Who said the British are not coming? Paul Revere. Well, this was all Paul Revere territory, Lexington and Concord, and this was the Concord Inn. And Mr. Grimes, the owner of the Concord Inn, was a favorite friend of Dr. Wallace, and I think there was some Christian giving and exchange going on there, and our wedding dinner was all paid for. Who was at the wedding? It was a very big wedding. There was my mother and my father and Franklin's mother and his father. And it was cold, folks. Oh, you don't know how penetrating cold it was. I think we covered everything, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
You're waiting for your jokes. Okay, let us pause the camera and find the jokes. A woman was bragging, "Our dining room table goes back to Louis XIV. And the woman next to her says, "Our dining room table goes back to J.C. Penney the 15th. You know, God, people have email, right? But what does God have? God has knee-mail." And the senior citizen said, "If I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself."